Richard Bateman dedicated his life to playing heavy metal music.
He went all around the world with all kinds of bands.
His wife, Amy, says the 50-year-old father was on top of the world, entertaining big crowds.
He always had a smile on his face.
Hello? Yes, ma'am. Tampa Fire Rescue. Tell me exactly what happened, please.
But all that came crashing down September 5th when he collapsed in his living room.
The operator instructed me on how to do CPR.
Good. Get him flat on his back. Oh, my God. Place your hand on his forehead, your other hand under his neck. He's breathing.
Tampa Fire Rescue sent an engine and an ambulance.
Oh, God, please hurry. They're coming as fast as they can, darling. Rescue 5's on scene, 1408 hours.
Paramedics arrived in minutes.
They got him outside and they put him in the first ambulance.
But the engine wouldn't start. You could see the lights go out when the ambulance died.
It was heart-wrenching. It was horrible. My son and my father-in-law and me were sitting on the steps praying.
And you're as helpless as heck. You can't do anything about it.
We need another rescue immediately. We have a non-breather, and the rescue is broken down.
No, they never told me that they were calling for a second ambulance.
So you didn't know what was going on?
I had no idea what was going on.
The second ambulance arrived nearly 40 minutes after the first 911 call. The ride to the hospital took 11 minutes. Moments later, Richard was pronounced dead of a heart attack.
And if that first ambulance wouldn't have died, he might not have died.
When the I-Team learned that ambulance unit 7734 had a broken alternator, we asked to speak to the chief.
I speak for the chief.
But Tampa Fire Rescue spokesman Jason Penny denied that request and defended the breakdown as unavoidable.
The issue that one had specifically was an alternator, and that's something you really can't plan for.
But records obtained by the I-Team show that ambulance was more than 3 weeks overdue for preventive maintenance on the same day Richard died. And over the past 2 years, that ambulance was sent to the repair shop 16 times for steering, brakes, and oil leak problems, racking up nearly $28,000 in repair and maintenance bills. Should anyone be at all concerned if they're having the heart attack or they're having the stroke about who comes to respond to that emergency?
They shouldn't, because we have multiple, that's not the only rescue that we have.
But the I-Team looked at maintenance logs for Tampa's other 27 ambulances and found 52 incidents where a rescue truck stalled or would not start in just 2 years alone. Problems range from bad batteries to faulty alternators.
Mechanical equipment is bound to break down at some point or another, but you try and do your best to not have that happen.
Chief Michael Bardell of the Sun City Volunteer Rescue Squad says regular maintenance is the key to life-saving operations. And his nonprofit retires ambulances after just 60,000 miles.
You're not good as an ambulance service if you can't keep something in service.
But the state doesn't have rules that limit the age or mileage for ambulances on Florida's roads. And the I-Team found that half of Tampa Fire Rescue's ambulances are at least 9 years old. The entire fleet averages about 140,000 miles. The ambulance called to Richard Bateman's home is 11 years old and has 229,000 miles. Penny says his crews did nothing wrong and stayed with Richard during the entire call.
The issue is not so much how quick we get them to the hospital, it's how quick we provide our medical professionals to get there and start treating that patient.
Amy is not convinced.
They always say when you're having a heart attack or a stroke, every single minute counts.
Richard's ashes sit a few feet from where he collapsed.
And if they would have been faster, my husband might still be here.
This isn't the first time Tampa Fire Rescue has faced questions about its vehicles. The agency's most recent audit in 2014 found some rescue cars were in need of repairs. Those repairs range from rescue cars leaking oxygen or oil to a rescue car having difficulty starting.
Top Tampa leaders tonight demanding action after the I-Team discovered a local father died after his ambulance broke down. It took nearly an hour to get him to the hospital after that. Investigator Adam Walser tonight uncovering an ambulance system in crisis and new calls now to fix the public safety system.
Life and death depends on it, so you can't have them breaking down.
Former County Commissioner Ed Taranchik, City Council members Mike Suarez and Harry Cohen, and retired banker David Straz, who are all running for Tampa mayor, are demanding upgrades after the I-Team found the city's ambulance fleet is the oldest in the region.
There's no question that we've got to upgrade our fleet.
The process itself is not working. This story indicates that.
No stone should be left unturned to try to save a life.
An I-Team investigation found Tampa Fire Rescue ambulances averaged 9 years old, but St. Petersburg and Pasco County fleets are about half that age. Hillsborough County ambulances average 2.6 years old, and the average Pinellas County Fire Rescue ambulance is just 2 years old. The current mayor, Bob Buckhorn, who steps down next spring, and Fire Chief Nick LoCicero have declined multiple interview requests.
That's troubling to me that city officials aren't sitting down with you talking about this. It's kind of, I don't get that.
You work for the people. You need to talk to the people if they have questions.
The fire chief did email a statement saying public safety remains the department's top priority, and they evaluate equipment yearly. Richard's wife, Amy Bateman, says she's still waiting for answers from the city.
What would you tell to the person who runs that agency?
Somebody's got to fix this. I don't want someone else to have to go through this. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone.
And now at 6, a Tampa father died of a heart attack in September after a responding ambulance broke down. I-Team investigator Adam Walser uncovered a system of old ambulances, high repair bills, and more tax dollars going to a new waterfront park than ambulances.
When you call 911 in Tampa, there's a good chance the responding ambulance is an old one. Tampa Fire Rescue has the oldest fleet in the region.
17 of the 28 ambulances are 9 years old or older. Is this fleet too old?
Certainly there's concern, and we need to be focused on making sure that we have appropriate turnover of the fleet.
Tampa Fire Rescue Chief Nick LoCicero says his department has to work with the equipment they have. And that means taxpayers foot the bill to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, fixing up old broken down ambulances, which sometimes spend months in the shop. The I-Team obtained this internal city email from July showing the fire department signed off on a $38,000 repair for a 9-year-old ambulance that had already run up $196,000 in repair bills. That's nearly the price of a brand new ambulance. And the I-Team found in 2 years alone, the city spent $846,000 on ambulance maintenance and repairs.
We have a budget that we abide by.
But the I-Team uncovered tax money already set aside for new ambulances.
Voters passed a community investment tax in 1996 to take care of these things.
Since then, the city has taken in more than $450 million through the special sales tax, meant to pay for public safety equipment, transportation, and community projects. But only $6.7 million of that money went to fire rescue vehicles, and it's unclear how many of those vehicles were ambulances. So where did the biggest chunk of that tax go? The city spent $26 million on this riverfront park. The 25-acre site includes tennis courts, a splash park, and even boat docks.
It's part of the effort to focus all of our attention on the waterfront.
Any revenue stream that would be viable for us to make sure that we have updating current equipment would certainly, we would love to be part of the conversation.
We repeatedly asked to speak to Mayor Buckhorn about Tampa's failing ambulances, but so far he's been unwilling to sit down for an interview. The I-Team first started looking into Tampa's fleet in October after 50-year-old Richard Bateman suffered a heart attack and died.
Rescue 5 is broken down.
The responding ambulance broke down, and it took 49 minutes from the first 911 call to get the Tampa father to the hospital.
We've got to have ambulances.
Businessman David Straz, who's running to replace Mayor Buckhorn, says the city collected $8.2 million last year from ambulance transport fees, which could also be used to buy new ambulances.
You divide that up by 28 ambulances, we can easily change these out every 2 years.
But the city bought no new ambulances between 2009 and 2012. Since then, Tampa has purchased only 11 new ambulances, not enough to keep up with replacing its aging fleet. I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser taking action for you.